This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live 100 feet from the Gulf of America. Here are your award-winning social media superstars, the hosts of Beach Talk Radio, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Thank you all for that.
Good morning.
Nice big crowd, full house here at Wahoo Willie's. For those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, cannot see the big crowd, but it's standing room only right now. A nice cloudy day here on the beach means come in to Wahoo Willie's and have something nice to eat or a cold beverage.
Or both.
Or both.
And the mayor is here. This is the mayor, for those of you that don't know, the mayor of Fort Myers Beach now. Yeah,
Hey.
yeah. Kim is not here because her dad celebrated his 80th birthday and she threw a party. And you never want to be around my wife when she's trying to organize a party. It's very stressful, but everything came out okay
What's
yesterday.
your dad's name?
Her dad's name is Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave.
You
Happy
know,
birthday, Dave.
yeah, 80 years old, and that's up in Orlando. That's why she's not here, but she is on her way back as of 1 minute ago. So that's
she's
why
in the car ready to text you all the things you're doing wrong.
That's right. And today we're going to do a lot of things wrong because she's not here. There's no governor when she's not here. But thank you to your lovely your lovely wife for sitting in yesterday. I don't know if you saw the show yesterday, but it was crazy. We had pirates and parrots and all kinds of fun stuff yesterday. The Shrimp Festival is 1 week from yesterday, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Peter is the owner of Wahoo Willie's in Snug Harbor and SOB, and big hand for Peter. He's going to tell us why he's here.
All right, thanks, Ed. Yes, we're looking forward to the best weekend at Fort Myers Beach, in my opinion, and here to promote Wahoo Willie's Princess Susan Aparicio. And she is trying to be a Shrimp Fest queen this year, and we haven't had a Shrimp Fest queen among our group since we've been open. And you've heard yesterday from the Lions Club how much Drew and everyone does for fundraisers as far as helping the beach, helping scholarships. So if you get on Facebook on Wahoo Willie's, you'll see Susan's picture, and if you donate $20, that goes directly to the Lions Club, to their cause, and it also is a vote for Susan to become the Shrimp Fest queen.
When you say go on Facebook, you need to be just a little bit more specific than that.
Wahoo Willie's Facebook page.
Okay, because you can also go on the Shrimp Festival page, and you can find all the information out there for the queens. Is that what it is? The queens?
Yes, they're princesses
Oh,
now, and there'll be a
princesses.
queen. The
It's
winner will be a
eventually.
queen.
I
Correct.
see. Gotcha. And that when do they crown the winner? Next Saturday, Peter?
Saturday or Sunday?
Well, Saturday's the big day, but Sunday is the shrimp eating contest, which, by the way, this year will be right here in Bayside Park.
Yes.
And they told me it's at 1 o'clock, the shrimp eating contest down here at Bayside Park.
And thank you for my second. Thank you for asking me about that.
What?
I was going to mention the shrimp eating contest that Nick, who was, if there's a master of the Shrimp Festival, Nick's been around for so many years.
Yeah.
And Nick will get Snug Harbor, Wahoo Willie's, and the SOB to head the shrimp for the shrimp eating
Yeah.
contest. Probably about 30 or 40 pounds of shrimp need headed.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to watch, but it is pretty disgusting. I mean, that's a lot of shrimp to have to.
We talked Bruiser into doing it 1 year.
He did
Yeah.
just 1 year.
This year?
No, it was a couple years ago when it was at Lynn Hall Park.
Did he win?
No, God, no. He said he felt miserable afterwards.
You know, they all have smiles on their faces. Too loud. They all have smiles on their faces for about the first 2 minutes, and then after that, they're trying to eat the shrimp and drink water at the same time. I think it's water anyway to try and help it go down.
I think
quicker.
last year it was like 3 pounds, over 3 pounds
Yeah,
of
something like
shrimp
that.
in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much of cardio work you have to do after eating all that shrimp? That's a lot of shrimp. That's a big
I'm just
bowl
thinking
of shrimp.
about the gout that comes after.
Did you just
that.
touch me? There's no touching.
By
Please
accident.
keep your hands over
I
there.
told you I didn't want to sit next to you.
All right, Peter. Anything
All right,
else?
thank you. No,
thank you. Big hand
very
for
much.
Peter Ennis,
Appreciate
everybody. All right, and Will's here real quick. I know Will's got plans today, but the town manager is here. He wanted to show off the shirt. Their 30th anniversary celebration is
Hold it up-
Friday.
Hold it up in front of the
Yeah,
camera.
Friday starts at 2:00 here at Bayside Park, and there's going to be a walk up to Times Square. And as you can see, the shirt has the Times Square clock on it, the iconic Times Square clock. And Will, what's the plan for Friday?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ed. So yeah, I brought one of the shirts in, the long sleeve. We'll also have short sleeve versions for sale on Friday, but I'll leave this here with Ed so everybody can take a look at it today. On Friday, we're going to be celebrating. It's a few months delayed from the actual anniversary of Fort Myers Beach Incorporation, but 30 years we're celebrating this Friday, 2 in the afternoon till 5-ish in the afternoon. And we're going to start right down here in Bayside Veterans Park with some opening ceremonies, discussions, some speeches by some of our leaders, and then along Old San Carlos on both sides of the street, right around here in the vicinity of Wahoo Willie's and the other places right around here on both sides, we're going to have the Art Association is going to have some Fort Myers Beach art on display that has been made over the years. And we're also going to have some historic photos of all the 30 years on display alongside, and people can walk, enjoy Old San Carlos here, walk up the street. And then we'll continue that kind of like a walking celebration until we get to Times Square. And at Times Square, we'll have some more speeches by some leaders. We'll have cupcakes, as is the tradition, for everybody to enjoy. And then, again, leaders will say some speeches. We'll have a celebration culminating at Times Square.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the thing with the cupcakes has been going on forever. I mean,
Yeah.
that was one of the
Betty Simpson was heavily
Yeah.
involved in it. Yeah.
the late Betty Simpson,
Late
right?
Betty
She
Sim-
passed
yeah.
away, I think, in the last year.
Yeah. It's been less than a year. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so please come out, help us celebrate 30 years, this great town. And about halfway through that, we will have a tent set up for people to buy the special edition 30th anniversary shirts if you so choose.
Yeah, and I jumped the gun a bit yesterday. We're on Facebook where I said there's going to be a big batch of shirts here, but we'll have them on Friday for people to purchase.
Yep, they'll be there on Friday, and you can go now to the town's Facebook page. There is a post with the shirt, and you'll see. And if you want to reserve your shirt ahead of time, that is available. Our public information officer, Abigail, has a link there for people to go to reserve their size and shirt that they can pick up on Friday.
And did you give out the prices of the shirts?
$40 for short sleeves and $45 for long sleeve. They
All
are a partnership with Tuna Skin, so very nice
Yes.
Tuna Skin shirt celebrating our anniversary.
will they also be able to get those at Tuna Skin?
That is unclear at this time. I don't think there is a plan right now for them to be available afterwards at Tuna Skin, but we can readdress that later.
All right. Anything else, Will?
That's it. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks. Big hand for your town
Thank
manager,
you, sir.
everybody. I think you're going to the baseball game or something, right? Yeah. Which one? The Red Sox or the Twins? Red Sox. All right. The brand new stadium up by our house. Who do the Red Sox play today? Anybody know?
I do not. He thinks it's Baltimore.
Yeah, the Orioles. You got some hair growing off here. Speaking of shirts, where's Jody? Jody, come here, Jody. So I walk in to set up my stuff this morning, and I look over at Jody, and Jody's got, I see Beach Talk Radio on the back of her. Take the sweatshirt off, Jody. I see Beach Talk Radio on the back of her shirt. And I do a double take with the shirt because we have never gotten a blue tank top like that made up before. So, Jody, you have to come over here and sit in the chair so people now – there's two things I notice about this is that it's the Gulf of America, right? The Gulf of America shirt on a tank top, which we've never made, and it's made out of cotton, which we've never made. All of our shirts are the dry fit stuff. I'm like, where did you get that? I have no idea who made that shirt. But if anybody likes this, let us know. We'll get the new blue tank top.
You got a copyright infringement going on or something?
You know, that's the second time that happened because there was one time a couple walked in and they had the yellow shirts, shirts that had one of the pictures on the front. It was made out of cotton. And I'm like, there have been knockoff pages that have sold our shirts before. I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, I've seen them, but usually there's a big red circle and a line through it.
All righty. So where's Howie? Is Howie still here? I know Howie.
No, his scooter's gone.
He wanted us to mention that the triple deuces
He's cooking the shrimp.
are the ones that cook
Yeah.
the shrimp for the shrimp festival. And that I think they're doing it right over here in the parking lot
Yeah. If he
across
comes
from
back, we
SOB.
got to get him on.
Yeah.
His outfit he's wearing is
Yeah.
fantastic.
So real quick, did you want to, I know you're a dog person like I'm a dog person, and I know we were talking about it before the show, and I don't want to bring up too much of what happened, but I know that you saw the video of the dog that was dragged in North Fort Myers, and that the strangest part about, not the strangest, the worst part about that story, not only seeing the video of the dog, but the guy, he didn't do anything to try and help his dog out. He didn't take the dog, like if it was an accident. I can understand if somebody, hey, let's go outside, I'll cut the lawn, I'll take the dog out, I don't want the dog to run away, so I'll tie him to the back of the truck. I mean, that's something that's never crossed my mind, but okay, so say that part happens and then he takes off. But then when he realizes what's going on, you would think that you would pick your dog up and go right to the vet. Like, I made this giant mistake, I need to go to the vet. But he didn't do any of that. And Carmine Marcino, your sheriff, does not put up with that. Dogs are human beings to him.
Yeah, you want to fast track to the Marcino Motel, do something to an animal. If you haven't had a chance to go out, he's got a place called Nan Ranch out off Ortiz that you can go check out. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can get in there. I don't know if it's open to the public, but they take a lot of rescued animals and bring them out there and take care of them. So he's got a big heart when it comes to that.
There goes our daughter with Hudson right there. Say hello. There he is right there. Yes, just turned 4 months old.
All right.
Yes. Took his
4 month-ish.
4 month-ish. He just
She's
took
giving
his
you the
first long trip in the car to Orlando to
Right.
see the family there. But it's nice to see those guys.
No, but it's unfortunate to see that. Whether, like you said, I don't know all the details. I don't know if it was an accident but
Crazy.
I can't. Obviously we're big dog lovers.
Yeah.
and it's probably a good thing I didn't see that happening.
Yeah. An innocent a bystander saw what was going on, stopped the truck, and
Yeah.
you saw the rest of what took place there. Now, that started off the day on Friday, but by the end of the day on Friday, just real quick, we did our Cape Coral show at the Cape Coral Animal Shelter, and there was a dog. His name was Jingle. He had been at the Cape Coral Jingle. He had been at the Cape Coral Animal Shelter for 777 days. He just got adopted yesterday, which was a great story.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And
I saw it was last week. I saw there was, I don't remember I think it was the Lee County Animal Humane Shelter that they had a Rottweiler there that was rescued. And I, of course, I sent it to Megan, which is probably not the smartest thing I've ever done, but I was surprised. She came back and said, somebody's going to adopt it, honey. Don't worry. And I thought, well, thank you. Whew. We almost had a third dog.
Yeah, that's what you need. 3 dogs like we have.
No.
So the Jingle has a skin condition, and it costs $200 a month in medication. And I think that was part of the problem, that adopting a dog is tough to begin with, and then you have that additional problem. The dog turned out he was allergic to some kind of bug and palm trees. I don't know how you go to the vet and figure out so the people that are adopting him are from Michigan. I don't think you're going to find a lot of palm trees in Michigan. So it's got a lot of land out there. So it was nice to see that. Sweetest little dog.
Have you ever seen and maybe it's not real. You can't believe half the things you see on social media nowadays, but on social media, there's at least one, I know, Humane Society, that the people that come in to adopt these animals, they sit them in a room and they let the dog choose the owner.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the video of that? It's kind of
No.
neat. The dog will run around and it does its sniffing, and then all of a sudden it just jumps on someone, and that's the person that gets to adopt the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's real or not, but it's a super cool idea.
So before we get to the town stuff, I did rile people up a little bit last night because of my love for the United States of America. And I just want to go ahead. What were you gonna say? I just want to say our United States Armed Forces is awesome. I mean, you can quibble over the decision of what they were told to do, but when they're told to do it, man, it's unbelievable to see what's going on there. And the thing, it took 47 years for us to repay what happened to us when the hostages were taken in 1979, or in 1983 when the embassy was bombed and 280 Marines were killed, or when the USS Cole was bombed, or on and on and on, or when the president or Bolton were threatened with assassination. It took the peace president to repay all of that. And, the other thing that I think is cool about that is now the Iranian people have a chance. They have a fighting chance. They've got to do it on their own, but they have a fighting chance thanks to what we've done. Now, I don't know if it was right or wrong, that decision that he made without Congress or whatever, but it's just to see the way that the United States can do something like that, and then you team them with Israel, and you know somebody was on the ground figuring out that those people were all meeting together and sent a cruise missile right up his buttocks, and that's the end of that guy. But I mean, now they have a fighting chance. Before that, we were delivering pallets of money over to them, and it's just that, and that's the only thing is, if you can't root for America right now, when can you?
Well, you know, I think it's important to start off the conversation by saying we only know what we have access to, right? We don't know all the details. We never will know all the details. But I kind of pride myself in watching and trying to learn both sides. And what I mean by both sides is if you go from Fox News to CNN, you will see different reporting on everything, right? But I think it's important to base your own opinion on trying to get as much facts as you can and the reporting that's done. So that being said, you know, the strike happened. From what we understand, there was 40 people that were taken out, top military people. And I think if you just look at the reaction from Iran, that should tell you everything that you should need to know. Yes, did they attack a military base? But they attacked countries that had nothing to do with it. They attacked a hotel. They attacked an apartment building. And that tells you everything you need to know. They attacked people that had nothing to do with it. As far as I know, I have not seen on any news channel that the United States or Israel has bombed any civilian targets. It's been all military targets. So that tells you everything that you need to know. And I think you hit on something. It's been since Jimmy Carter, I think you said,
Jimmy Carter.
That anything has been done. And, you know, whether you love or you hate the current president, the fact that he was willing to make a decision and stand beside the decision, that's what a leader does. A leader does what is not always popular and maybe is not always the right thing, but what they believe based on what they've been told they did. And the fact that it hasn't been done since Carter, and again, this is not a love or hate thing for the current president. You can love him or you can hate him. Doesn't bother me either way. But from what you've seen on TV on both channels, there's been a lot of celebration, much more celebration than protests from Iranian people who, you know, it's not just about they're going to now potentially have the ability to have their own freedom. It's the people that fled that now are excited that they may get to go back to their homeland and visit their homeland without feeling being killed just because they don't agree with the politics.
Yeah, and let's not forget that 30,000 people were killed when they were protesting to try and get it to this point. And, you know, that's a lot of people that were trying to rise up.
And imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine if the United States and Israel just sent bombs in and started bombing hotels and bombing apartment complexes in Iran. The whole world would be up in arms, right?
Yeah.
But nobody seems to be upset the fact that that's how they retaliated. And thank God, I think I've only heard one person was killed in the one strike, but
in Israel.
In Israel, was it in Tehran or was it Tel Aviv? I think it was. Yeah. But
apartment building.
I mean, I took yesterday and I was pretty sick, so I watched a lot of TV.
I can't get enough of it. I'm in awe of what.
I watched every news station out there, and
to me, it almost seems like CNN wants it to fail, or you know, you watch one of the. And I know Fox goes the other way, but like you said,
both news stories were, in my opinion, were very objective.
Yeah,
you know, in both of in their reporting. So I think they both had good points. I think they both had bad points.
Yeah. All right, so I just wanted to.
We'll see what comes out.
And I was goofing around with people on Facebook last night because you know I
didn't see it. What did you say?
I just said I said that if you don't love America, don't watch the show today. And these people here love America. It's like you go from the winning the gold medal last week when the crowd was going crazy, 46 years, and then we make 47 years right somehow today. 47 years. It's hard to, you know, Nightline was created because of the hostage crisis that went 444 days. It's just amazing how time flies too, which, man, speaking of that.
We were just saying, we can't believe it's already March.
Yes. I just, before we get to the town stuff, I am going to the doctor tomorrow, so there'll be no more whining after tomorrow. I mean, today was like the worst.
Does anybody in here actually believe that that's when the whining is going to stop?
I'm going to. I swear, when I go to the doctor tomorrow, I'm going to beg him for some kind of shot with a horse tranquilizer in it or something. I mean, it's so painful driving 15 minutes right now. I don't know. I sound like a whiner. I am a whiner. I'm sitting on a heating pad.
Is it painful or is it like a toothache?
No, it's so painful. Like, and I still go to the gym. And today, what did I do today? I worked on my back today, which probably was the dumbest thing I could do. But you can't. I can't not go to the gym. It's like you and not eating ice cream. I just can't not go to the gym.
You know, it's funny we talk about that. It's been probably a year since I've had ice cream.
Yeah.
Except for the other day. Megan brought home a little thing of it and I ate it. But yeah, ice cream is my nemesis, but I've been trying to be conscious about not eating.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll figure something out. But it's the regular doctor. And Kim set the appointment because she was totally tired of me whining about it. And I bought that gigantic upside down machine that you all told me to buy.
Did you ever get it put together?
It's still sitting 50 pieces sitting on our counter in the kitchen, bars everywhere. I haven't put one screw in that thing because you know what I do as soon as I get home? I lay down on the couch because it hurts so much. I can't even sit in a chair. And so and then the other thing is our dog, Petey, he's a snuggle dog. So I lay on the couch, and as soon as he sees that, he climbs underneath my back and lays underneath my back. And what am I going to do? Throw him off the couch?
He's trying to make you feel better, Dad.
No, it's just the
not
worst
like he drug
thing.
you behind a truck.
So, and people are saying go to the chiropractor, go to the chiropractor. I don't think that's the right move right now. I think I need some kind of cortisone shot or something.
I've never
like
been
that.
to a chiropractor.
Neither have I. And I've never gotten a massage.
I've heard they help, but they make you keep coming back.
Have you ever gotten a massage?
No.
Yeah, neither have I, because I don't want anybody touching me with oil or whatever they use to do that. So,
I don't. You've been watching too much TV.
all righty. So, what do we have going on with the town? Is there anything happening with the town, Dan? Let's see. I did. I noticed one of the things that was taken off the agenda for tomorrow was the smoking ban. Why'd you do that?
Staff moved it to the MMP meeting for discussion. I think it's something that I'm glad we did. I think it's something that's important that we discuss. Usually before things get to an ordinance, they go through the MMP process to discuss. And that's, you know, and just seeing some of the comments when it first came out, you know, the town doesn't own the entire beach, right? So I think hashing out those conversations in an MMP is important to do before it gets to the ordinance phase of it. One, it gives just another meeting for someone to be able to understand what's going on. Because as we know, not everybody's paying attention all the time to what the town does. And sometimes by the time it gets to a second reading, it's the first people have heard of it. So I thought it was important. I think Will and staff did a great job of making sure that went to back to the MMP for discussion, and we'll see where it goes. I think it got moved on to Thursday's agenda
it's a no-brainer to pass that. It's just that how do you enforce something like that? I mean, you're going to have the sheriff's department's not going to be walking around.
And I'm glad you said that because you got to remember if one thing we've learned since the storm is if you don't have certain things in place at the time of a devastation, you can't get recovery funds for it. So not that this is going to have anything to do with it, but if you don't have any ordinances or you don't look at the flood panels, look at these other things, if you don't have specific things in place to address or that you're addressing it before a storm, it doesn't entitle you to potentially get funds in reimbursement. Canal dredging is another one. So having ordinances in place is important.
But nobody's going to enforce that. I mean,
it's going to be difficult to enforce, right?
Yeah. If a sheriff's deputy walks up to, or a ranger walks up to somebody smoking and says, "Put out your cigarette," and they say no, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to arrest them?
I think that's why
silly thing.
Yeah, that's why the conversation I think is important to have at the MMP to be able to lay out exactly what parts of the beach this is going to affect if, in fact, it gets passed. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense to have it in public buildings or things like that where it's inside buildings, and things like that. But
I've only been to Hawaii once, and I remember you couldn't smoke anywhere. And I'm not a smoker, so it didn't bother me at all. But there was no place on the beach you could smoke except for like one area you could go. They had to call it like a tree and a cigarette butt holder around it. And everybody would huddle around that tree, and they call it the butt tree. So
yeah, somebody was asking why there aren't pails with sand in it. More pails with sand in it. I think this was one of the comments, and garbage cans. I said, well, I understand there probably could be more garbage cans, but the sand with pail in it just encourage people to smoke.
Well,
are you getting more garbage cans?
I believe so. Okay. Yeah. Most people, like anything else, most people that smoke are good stewards of making sure they pick up after themselves. Just like anybody that maybe has a cocktail or something, you're not supposed to do that on the beach. People are usually good stewards of that, and the ones that don't are the ones that make it where you have to have ordinances for things.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to confess
There's
today.
a reason Mr. Yuck was so popular.
Who?
You remember Mr. Yuck?
No.
The Mr. Yuck sticker you used to have to put on poisons under the counter so the kids didn't drink it.
Really? I've never heard of that.
You never
before.
heard of the Mr. Yuck stickers? Maybe it was a Minnesota thing.
I do have to admit that I did take Callie out this morning, and I didn't bring a bag with me because I can't bend over to pick it up. So when Kim gets home, I'll tell her where it is so she can go grab it.
I can see the text message now. Where's it at? Where's the phone?
The other thing that's on the Tuesday agenda is the Beach Renourishment Company is going to be asking for, I don't remember, several hundred, I think it was several 100,000. I didn't realize they were 195 days late than finishing when they were supposed to, which kind of caused, I mean, you understand the Helene and the Milton thing, but it kind of causes problems when you have bird nesting and turtles and you got to move the turtles. And so I know you can't tell us how you would vote on that, but that's going to be an interesting conversation to have, right?
It sure will. You know, a lot of things went into that beach renourishment, right?
Yeah.
Mother Nature had a lot to say in it.
Yeah.
You know, mechanical failures. There's been a lot of things that went into that, but I'm looking forward to the discussion. And
Do you think Aetna did a good job?
Well, I think the finished product is great. Right?
Yes.
I don't think anybody hates it. You know, that's the thing when you're going through these, any RFP that you're trying to pick out someone. Everybody that's going for a job is going to say the other person, we can do a better job than them. And you really don't know until it's after. If another firm was selected, would they have had the same issues? Who knows? You know, you can't always say, yeah, they would have, or yeah, they wouldn't have, but you know, we're just glad it's done. At the end of the day, we're just glad it's done.
Yeah, and for anyone that, I don't know if anyone cares about this or what, but the budget was about $22 million. Aetna came in at $21.7 million. One of the bidders, there were three. One of the bidders came in at $37 million, and that bidder was going to protest because they didn't think that Aetna had the right equipment or they were going to do it safely, but they backed off on the protest because that could have delayed the project even longer. So that was nice that they didn't actually protest. I think they wanted to make a statement about how they felt that they didn't have the equipment. And it sounded like they were right about that because the equipment did break down a few times.
Right, but who's to say their equipment broke down,
true.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's a lot of.
Plus, you didn't have that money. You didn't have $37 million.
Well, there's a reason you have a budget, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go to buy a car, you have a budget. You like the nice shiny ones that are double your budget that you want to buy, but you don't have the money to buy it. So
right.
You gotta work with your budget.
So that's Tuesday,
Yep,
and
Tuesday.
you know what
Monday.
So I don't know why I keep saying Tuesday.
Monday.
Monday
The last
is
meeting
the
was on a
town council
Tuesday.
meeting, and the other thing that I noticed is that you guys keep extending the state of emergencies, and almost if not every meeting, but every month for sure. But when does that end?
When the state ends their state of emergency is when the state of emergency ends.
Okay.
So the state still has an open state of emergency on a couple of the storms. If you notice, obviously Ian is gone. So when the state ends theirs, ours end as well.
Yeah, this heating pad's really hot right now. It's really hot.
And you know, it's important to keep those open because it does allow you to do things outside your normal process. Should you have something that you need to do that becomes an emergency?
Yeah.
So it's important to have those. We've gone back to pretty much following the exact process that we had before the emergency, but on most things. But there are things that come up. Could be a water main break. Could be something that you need to get a contract in place quickly to be able to fix it. Could be a life safety thing that you need, and having that state of emergency allows you the ability to do that.
I don't know what this is, but I'll throw it out there. Pickleball courts were scheduled to be complete January the 12th. They have been 99% complete for 3 weeks. Is that true?
Well, I think maybe Will wants to. Do you want to jump back in, Will? Do you know more about this than I do? Probably. I know that the pavings, but I don't think the fencing is up all the way completed. Is
Right.
It?
The remaining, yes, they are a little bit over schedule. The remaining pieces are some of the fencing and the screening that's going to go along the fencing because, you know, the wind blows through there quite a bit. And so just some last cleanup issues. Those courts will be ready. And I know this is the peak season. They're full. The courts that we do have around, you know, behind Bay Oaks and inside Bay Oaks, every day, I love it. Every day they're packed from opening to close. And that's fantastic. So we want to get these courts open as fast as anybody does.
Well, while you're sitting here, Will, maybe whoever, what's the latest on the pool? I know you guys had a design agreement with somebody, and when is the pool work going to start?
Yeah, so the pool work construction is still probably about 8 months or so out for any shovels in the ground. And I say because what we agreed to with Opulent Designs more recently is the design and engineering. So they're going to do the design for us, all the engineering plans that then they will pass on to a contractor, but they work really closely with several contractors in the area here in Florida. Not knowing which of those will be selected for the build, but I don't think it'll be a seamless transition from one to the other. Very good company. They've designed some beautiful pools. The idea is to have a hybrid of a community pool and a resort kind of a location right here on the island.
A destination.
Yeah, a destination.
Awesome. And what did the staff make any recommendation to the council on whether to pay the remaining balance to Aetna? I didn't see that in the agenda.
Yes. Our recommendation is, and it's up to council to make the decision, but our recommendation is to deny the request to liquidate the damages.
And that money would be kept in your budget. You get to keep that money.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Awesome.
I mean, it's just really it's money that wasn't used under the contract. Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks for those updates,
thanks.
Will. Are the Dodgers playing the Red Sox today?
No, the world champion Dodgers are not playing Boston today. But you got to show your pride.
All right.
At least I think so.
Yeah, and that's a great stadium over there. It's right in our backyard there. We love going to the games.
Yeah,
there.
the JetBlue Park is great.
Really.
If you haven't had a chance to go check it out, they got the mini green wall.
Yeah.
The green monster out there. It's a great, The monster, the green monster is out there. The Twins Park's great too. They're all great.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah,
but,
that's a good park.
So
now you can walk all the way around it.
I don't know if the folks are still here, but somebody, I said I'd ask you, but I knew you probably didn't know anything more, but maybe you do.
Maybe.
Have you heard from Mullica or the county on the pier? Have you heard anything new?
No new updates. I did have a conversation with Commissioner Mullica this week, but we definitely haven't talked about the pier lately.
Okay. He needs to come on over, grab the microphone. Listen, we are totally friendly to the audience here. Grab number 3 right there.
How you doing?
Good.
What's the story behind your jacket? Is it hockey, baseball? What is it?
I was bored eating that breakfast. I wanted to sit here with you guys.
You were
And
bored.
You gotta hold
like
your
a lot
microphone
more
up so we
fun.
hear.
It looks like a lot more fun than having breakfast.
Where are you from? Are you from New
my
York?
My daughter and my son and everybody. I'm a longtime resident of Fort Myers Beach. I would like to say thank you very much, but my shout out goes to the women's hockey team for bringing home the medal.
Yeah.
And my man McAvoy from Long Beach, New York, who brought us home a spectacular medal. And I'm sure they're celebrating in the snow up there. But I just wanted to give a shout out to the men's and the women's.
Wait. Don't be
team.
running away. Where are you? Are you from? Where?
Okay.
Your accent. I thought you were from Bismarck, North Dakota.
No, I could sit here all day. What would you like to talk about?
What part of New York?
I'm really good at this stuff.
What part of New York are you from?
I'm from New York, Long Island, New York.
We're in Long Island.
I'm in Long Beach, New York.
All right. Yeah, I was born in
home
Smithtown.
of McAvoy.
Yeah. Oh, is that where he's from?
That's
Gotcha.
correct.
Gotcha. Why do all of our hockey teams and baseball teams and football teams suck?
Why do they suck?
Yeah, why?
The
Every
money.
single one of them.
The cheap bastards.
The Mets are not cheap. The Mets are not cheap.
Yeah, I know they got the budget. What are they doing? With
They're
the money?
nothing.
I
They're
don't
not
know.
going to come in last place again this year, guaranteed.
Yeah, Ranger team. What happened?
Terrible.
They bought 'em. It was like the Florida Marlins back in the day. They
Yeah.
bought the team, sold
1 year.
it, won a champion, and then dismembered
Did
it.
you watch the game yesterday on ABC?
No, I didn't. I'm too cheap. I have that little box that you call in and you just sign up and you get free programs.
I see.
Yeah, I'm a
that
little
sounds
cheap
illegal
on it.
to me, whatever he's doing.
Yeah, it's connected. It's just got a long wire that goes to my neighbor. Is that,
I got
is
you.
that-
Yeah.
is-
No, it's
is-
totally legal. Totally legal.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
now, when you guys come to the beach, where do you stay?
We come back and forth with snowbirds. We have a couple of houses up the block, and we just come down. My daughter came in from college this
Very
weekend,
nice.
and I wanted to
What college did you
show
go
her a
to?
good time. That's
Charleston.
Alexandra Patterson.
Very
my,
nice.
My first grade teacher. Maybe she could teach me something.
Yeah.
You
When you come down to the beach, you make your rounds, you go to all the restaurants and the bars.
No. I usually stay on the other side. I do a lot of fishing, so I
Nice. What do you got in your purse there? What's going on
I
with your...
have a bag full of marijuana. It's 5, 10s, and 20s and
Gotcha.
pre-rolls. All
He's
that
from
stuff.
New York. He's
Yeah,
got
that's
pounds of 50s in there.
Hey, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys.
Nice,
I'll see you
thank
next
you.
week.
All right.
I feel like it was on an episode of Sopranos right there. I'm like looking behind me. Like,
Does anybody else want to join the show today from the audience? We
Yeah.
love when that happens. It's
next time, bring some gabagool.
It's like yesterday we had people like with parrots, and then there was a bunch of pirates.
Parrots.
There's a thing with the pirates outfit that was caught me by surprise yesterday. So But it's going to be a great weekend next Saturday. That's for sure.
That's the second. So we went out to dinner the other night with Jorge, and went to JWB, and there was a guy named Tony, talked just like him. He was from Brooklyn. That guy cracked me up. I said, he doesn't have any cheesecake on the menu. He's like, let me tell you about cheesecake. He's like, you Americans screwed it all up with the sugar. He goes, you got to have Rugat.
Yeah. So I think you were talking about the pier. No update.
No update.
Okay.
No.
I think the last I heard was they're still waiting for the Army Corps of Engineer permits.
That's the last I heard.
The county has the money. They're ready to go. They need the Army Corps to get off their butts.
Yeah.
It's the same way in Cape Coral. They're waiting for the Army Corps permits for the Cape Coral Yacht Club pier.
Yeah, I believe the county, the town, I believe the state, all the permits are pretty much lined up for it, just waiting on the feds.
Dan, I know there's a certain number of people that I pick on insensitively. I don't even know if that's a word here on the beach. And one of them is the guy that owns the Beacon parking lot. I think last week I was whining about the pool, and the town gave him a code violation for the pool. And then the next day he's filling it in with rocks. Is that okay? I think you got a code violation for that too, for filling it in with. What do you do to take a pool out?
Yeah.
Do you know what the process?
Well, I don't
is?
know the exact process, but I'm pretty confident that filling it with rocks
is not it.
Is probably not it. My guess is if it isn't, he's probably gotten a code violation for that as well.
Yeah, and the thing that bugs me about that, and I know I should just mind my own business, is that John Richard's parking lot is like a little mini park. He did such a nice job because he cares about the beach, and that guy doesn't. It's a dirt road kind of thing. And somebody else was saying there was a dude taking money from people, and there's signs there, like they have the parking sign. So somebody was taking money from people, cash, and then the people saw the signs and everything, and they got ripped off. I mean, I don't even know how you regulate that stuff.
Well, I've talked about it with Commander Layler too. It's during season, you see people parking on private property, and there's really not a lot the town can do.
Right.
We can't, it's private property. You got to have it posted. Private property owners got to call it in. But if you're a private property owner, I would think you'd want to protect yourself from any kind of liability and have it fenced off or roped off or whatever you got to do. But this time of year, we've seen people in the past that they don't care if there's a rope or there's a fence. They're gonna get in and do what they want to do. And
yeah, it's a shame that guy doesn't have the kind of pride for his property like John did. I mean, it's so in prime real estate, people driving by. It could be so nice.
The good thing about John Richard is, he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He doesn't want to be someone that's in, he just wants to do his business and go about his day and follow the rules. And when he brought his parking lot forward, he took the time and hired the people to find out exactly what he had to do. And that's what he did. And he came forward with a beautiful design. It looks great. We wish everybody was like John Richard, but not everybody is.
Right. And by the way, Kim's watching on her drive, so I'm going to be on my best behavior for the remaining 23 minutes of the show.
Well, I haven't seen a text come through yet, so we haven't done anything to make her mad yet.
So, you're not going to do anything to make her mad. So the other question, do you have any update on the lights, how the lighting project's coming along?
I wasn't on the call this Friday, but last Friday, they expect to say middle of the month, hopefully have it substantially done. What that means is maybe not every light will be done, but the poles will be up. The infrastructure will be done. As you know, we had a little issue with people stealing copper out of the conduit. That's been fixed. So if you've noticed, you're starting to see it as FPL will put the meters in and energize it. The accounts are all set up. So everything the town can do is done. Now it's just a matter of FPL putting the meters in, and you'll start to see sections of Estero Boulevard lighting up over the next couple of weeks.
It's amazing. Have they found anybody that stole the copper? I mean, with cameras everywhere.
I have not heard that they have. But
yeah.
I mean, that's a busy road. I'm really surprised someone's
cameras everywhere.
I don't know.
All right. So what else do you want to update people on? What do you got?
We've talked a lot about the progress and how the town is progressing and there's always a lot of chatter out there. And I've said it before. So I asked staff this week if they could get me a list of all the properties that have been approved, commercial properties that have been approved on the island since Hurricane Ian, because I wanted to see the status and see exactly where they were at. Because as I said before, there's not been one commercial project that's come before the town that's been rejected. Not one. So it's 24 properties, commercial properties have been through the process and been approved by the town since Fort Myers Beach. Of that, 3
since what?
Since Hurricane Ian.
Okay.
So since of that, 3 of them have actually, the Whale, the Beach Bar, and soon to be the fire station are ones that have come out of the ground. 3 other ones are close, the 3 7-Elevens.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is not either submitted to DO or it's in review. So there's progress has been made, and of that, the 5 big projects, 4 or 5 big projects that have been approved haven't even submitted for DOs yet. So, I get a little defensive when I hear from people and they say, "Oh, the town's not moving fast enough." Well, you've got the approval. Now it's on you to get moving, right? We can only move as fast as you provide us information, and we're encouraging everyone that's been approved, get your stuff in. We want to start reviewing it. We're ready for it. Whether you agree with the approvals or you don't, they've been approved. They're now part of our community. Now we need to support them just like we would Wahoo Willie's or your neighbor. And that's what we're willing to do. So let's stop the back and forth about, I'm tired of hearing about the recall. I'm tired of hearing about all the other stuff. That's stuff we can't go back and change. We can't change your approvals. Your approvals have happened. So, my door is always open. I've said it to every single developer that's come before us. I will sit down and talk to any one of you. You want to bring your banker? If your banker is only reading headlines and thinks that the town's holding people up, have them come sit with me. I'm sure Will be more than happy to sit in with me as well. We'll tell you exactly where it's at. Unfortunately, for the last 3 years, I've heard from people, they only see what they see on social media, and they don't know the real story about what's been going on. You know how many people I've talked to in the last 2 weeks that were shocked to hear that every single commercial project that has come before us has been approved? Every single person I've talked to about it, they're like, "Are you kidding me?" No, I'm not kidding you. It's the fact. So please stop saying that the recall is holding up the progress for Fort Myers Beach. Tired of hearing it.
All right. Well, yeah. So take care, guys. Thank you for coming. So on those, what you just said, have you actually called any of like Myerside or some of the ones that have been approved and say, "Hey, well, what's the delay here? Why aren't you putting a shovel in the ground?" Have you asked and talked to any of them?
No, I haven't. But we're a small island. People talk, right? And you hear things, and a lot of it's, the market's not right, but to me, this is where I get frustrated. It's easier to blame the town of Fort Myers Beach and the political climate of Fort Myers Beach than it is to actually sit down and have a conversation and find out the reality. And what's really irked me lately is now that conversation has spread out into something else, and now the next wave of nonsense is coming. Well, you better be careful, because if you don't, the county's going to come in and take
I have
you over
heard that, yeah.
if you're not moving fast enough. And I've had a couple county commissioners call me and, politely saying, "Hey, what's going on down there? We're hearing this." Again, the bridge is open. There's no toll to come over. Every county commissioner can come down and sit down and see what's going on and ask for questions. And I encourage them to do that. But to just believe developers drives me absolutely bananas, because a developer isn't going to come out and say, "We don't have the money," or "The bank won't loan us the money," or "We paid too much for the property," or "The taxes are too high." It's easier to say a recall. And I know I'm a little fired up because it's ticking me off that I'm hearing these calls. It's easier to say, the political climate on Fort Myers Beach is a problem, or "You're not approving enough." Well, I could show you all the data that shows you that's BS. So if you really want to have a conversation, let's sit down and talk like adults. And then you can go back to the developers and say, "Why aren't you doing what you said you were going to do? You've got your entitlements. You've given public benefit. Let's sit down and have a conversation. Why aren't you moving forward? Is there anything we can do to help you? Is there something that the town can do to help move this along?" We can't do anything with banks. We certainly can't do anything with land costs, but we can certainly help you somehow, whether it's through permitting, make sure that you've got all the information you need to submit a proper DO the first time. I don't know.
Well,
I'm a little fired up over it. Sorry.
So if you haven't spoken to anyone directly about it, what is your guess about why?
Well, I've spoken to some. All
right. Well, what is the answer they've given you?
Well, I've spoken to some of the approvals, and it's what I just said. It's the political climate on the island. It's, we don't know what's going to happen. And then it gets into about the third or fourth excuse. It gets into, well, bankers don't want to, and then it goes to the bankers. And again, it goes back to the town of Fort Myers Beach's fault that the banks won't loan money to the developers. It's our fault because we had a recall election or the unstable. And I'll go back to the facts. I've never met a banker that doesn't look at facts. The facts are every commercial property has been approved, every single one. And only 3 have come out of the ground and have actually opened. 3 are in the works, and some are in review. We can't make them go faster. We can't make condo units sell faster. We can't make hotel rooms fill up if there's nothing to put there, if there's no building there to fill them up. So instead of playing the blame game on both sides, quite honestly, just sit down and say, "Hey, here's the path forward. Here's how, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. That's fine. We're all adults. Say it. The climate has changed. We all get that. Anybody that's ever bought a car, in the last 3 years understands the interest rates are higher. Everything's, cost of living's more expensive. But stop blaming people. Stop blaming the town, and stop blaming a recall election that has nothing to do with anything anymore. Because that's just, to me, it makes you sound like you just have nothing better to do than blame somebody else.
Yeah. So do you think it's all coming down to the money?
And believe me, this is not anything I haven't said to certain people to their face.
Do you think it's all about they can't get the money?
I think that's some
at the end
of
of the
it.
day,
I think-
like
well, I think-
Meyer side can't get the money.
Well, and again, I'm not a
Now,
developer, so
but
I
to
don't
be
want to
fair-
speak for developers.
But to be fair on one other thing, Boynton said he wasn't going to build right away. He came right out of the gate.
Sure,
He was honest.
sure,
He said,
something
I
happened.
want the approval, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to build for 5 years because he wants to see, I think he wants to see more bodies on the beach.
Right.
He wants to see more people, more condos, especially down there, more condos open and more people on the beach. So he was honest. So he did say that.
And that's part of the thing that really, when development comes forward, it's always, well, we have to have the developments to know what we can build before we can start putting together a real business plan. And then once it's approved, then it becomes, well, there's not enough people there. Well, then to me, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I need to know what I can build before I can start, and then say, well, it's your fault. You're not bringing enough people to the island, so therefore I can't start. You know what I mean? And that drives me crazy. And I'm not a developer. I will tell you, I'm sure there's some development that's been approved that had no idea what they were doing or what it was going to cost to do it. Had no idea. And now when they're getting their hard costs because they've got their entitlements, they're like, oh, crap, this is way more expensive than we thought. How are we going to pay for it? But I do think there's projects out there that have been approved, that have the money to move forward. And for whatever reasons, maybe the economy's not right. Maybe it's just not right. Maybe they don't feel there's enough people to support it. Or maybe they're waiting till 50% of whatever they're building is sold out. Whatever the reasons are, they have reasons. But I do believe we've had good investors come onto the island and are ready to go. Some are caught up in Ritz. Some are, so we've had, there's a lot of different things going on. But again, from the development world, the general argument I've heard over the last year is the political climate on Fort Myers Beach is unstable. Kick rocks. Really kick rocks. Because you haven't been down here. You haven't talked to anybody. You're reading tabloids. You're reading things instead of talking to the people that can physically tell you what's going on. And stop blaming our damn staff, quite honestly. If staff has a problem, let me know. Trust me. Will hears from me every week. If there's an issue, someone's got a problem, he's the first person I call. And it gets handled. If it's our mistake, we'll own it. We'll move on. If it's not our mistake, we'll tell you it's not our mistake and we'll fix it and we'll move on. Or if we can tell you, hey, here's what you're missing, here's what you need, that's what we'll do and we'll move on. But it's getting under my skin. And I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it's getting under my skin, this whole political climate BS we're hearing from the development world. And the fact that they're taking it to the county and now using the county officials to push back on it is really got me ticked off.
Well, there was a time where the political climate was uncertain, but
Without a doubt, without a
that's
doubt.
now past us. And
But even
if we're-
that's my point though, Ed, even through all of that,
you were approved.
they were still approved.
You could have started building. Yeah.
There's
You know-
nothing. There's nothing that the political climate has held up when it comes to development on this island.
And
Nothing.
and if you are looking at it like that specifically, and you look at the council now, John McClain did vote for Seagate. John McClain did vote for all those other projects. And so, it's not like you can say everything went south on the town council. He's not anti-development where some others are that aren't on the
Fort
town
Myers
council.
Beach is no different than any other town. Every 4 years, yes, the recall election was unfortunate. Yes, none of us liked it. Some did, some didn't. I shouldn't say all of us, but it happened. It's nobody did anything wrong. Everybody did what they were allowed to do via legal or process, and it is what it is. But it didn't hold up development. It didn't stop development. It didn't stop approvals.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well, and Greg is right. If they didn't like the political climate now, wait until November when there will be more change. It doesn't mean that it's going to change the way he wants them to, although I think he's probably more right on that than
Well,
than
again, then we're
wrong.
gonna have another election in November, and
But those
we'll
other
see.
projects are still approved.
Still approved.
Except for the Seagate Writ issue that's holding that up, I'm guessing.
If
Everything else is approved.
if I was to flip it around, imagine how ridiculous I'd sound if I was going to the county and say, listen, I'm getting calls every single day from people peed off that the pier isn't done. There's no bathrooms in the. We know what their process is. We understand that they've had to deal with FEMA.
But
We
that would be
totally
true
get
if
it.
you told them all that too.
Well, but I would look like an idiot just calling them and saying, hey, how come you guys aren't getting this pier done faster? Well, there's certain things that are outside of your control.
Right.
We don't control the Army Corps of Engineers. So when I get calls like that from commissioners, it really gets my blood boiling, because you never took the time to ask me. You just took somebody else's input and decided that was the fact, and you just called me and told me this is what I think. And
So
that's a surefire way to get me fired up.
Albert is watching, and he says the small mom and pop places will go first, then the larger ones will go
Of
ahead.
course. Yeah.
And it's a chicken and the egg thing.
And
Speaking
one
of smaller,
I think his projects are in review. I've got the list. So
yeah. Speaking of smaller projects, he and Jim Inc. are putting the finishing touches on the paperwork for 1901 Estero, and that's
Mhm.
the old Hoosiers building
that's one of the ones in review. Yeah.
across from Diamond Head. So it will not be a Hoosiers, as far as I know. It'll be a restaurant. That building is a brick, you know what house. I mean, it's to withstand that storm. But they're. I mean, you've seen
Yeah,
the,
half of it was.
yeah. You've seen the pictures of that, and so that looks nice. But I mean, I understand it's not going as
The
fast
hardware
as a lot of
store-
people
the hardware
wanted
store,
to.
you
But
know?
it is what it is. I mean, that storm. Remember how Estero Boulevard looked the day after Hurricane Ian. It was
Well, and
it was-
anybody that's been down here for the
Yeah.
last 3 months, just ask any business owner if they're regressing.
No,
You can ask them.
And just as a
Go ask 'em.
reminder for anybody, just take a look at that paddle next to the TV up there and realize that's how high the water was here at Wahoo Willie's from that storm. I mean, it's going to take a little while.
Well, I think that gets lost too, in 18 months of trying to get to the ground to be able to see what you can build on. That takes a lot of time to get stuff out of here. But again, I cannot stress the message enough.
Let me ask you this
we're
about
moving forward
about
whether
the
you like
rebuild.
progress or
I might- I might have asked you this already, but if you've got a piece of property that you used to have a small mom and pop on, and you were making money out of it before the storm, but you can't rebuild the same thing because you don't have enough space. You don't have any public benefit to offer the town. Is there any way to help that along a little more? Do you feel like the town can do anything else, or you can't? You just can't.
Well, I think the easiest thing the town can do that doesn't cost anybody any money is encourage, right? We encourage everybody. If you were a small mom and pop, yes, we understand, to your point that you say all the time, not every small business owner or property owner has the ability to offer significant public benefit, right? But I think it's been said by many council members, one of the things that you could look at as potential or as public benefit is the fact that having that business back open, right? That's a significant public benefit. So I wouldn't be afraid of public benefit, as we've seen in the approvals. There's been some that people agree with. There's been enough public benefit, and some there hasn't. So there's really, and that's why I'm a big fan of not having a specific this for this, because in your scenario, then a small business owner would have no shot to be able to build back if you had a predetermined list of, this extra parking gets you this, or this gets you that, or an extra bathroom gets you that. These small business owners and property owners would have zero chance of building back. Right now, they have the ability because they were here before the storm. If you have the ability and with them, it all comes down to finances too, right? It's not as easy and cheap to build up as it was before the storm. So people have to take a hard look at their, the return on their investment and what it would cost to do it. And the answer, as I've said from the beginning, isn't always going to be yes.
And that's what makes it, I think, a little bit unusual on Fort Myers Beach, is that you're willing to say, perhaps to a small business owner, we know you don't have any public benefit. We don't need any public benefit because we want you to come back. Yet if you got more property, you owe us public benefit. It's not apples and apples, and I guess that's the way you guys want it. You don't want it to be fair across the board. You want it to be muddy.
Well, it has nothing to do with fair. It has to do with what I think is a public benefit. After November, we're going to have potentially 3 new council members or 3 of the same. We don't know.
Clear as mud.
They may have a different idea of what you could say clear as mud. But
it is. Well, it's totally unclear because everyone's got their own. Like some people think, I know we're kind of like beating a dead horse here, but some people think a restaurant on the south end is public benefit. A restaurant on the north end is not public benefit. That's as clear as mud. I mean, a restaurant's either public benefit or not, but I guess if it's public benefit to a certain neighborhood, that's okay. If it's not, like if it's a restaurant in an area where there are other restaurants, that's not really public benefit. I mean, so that's what I mean.
Well, I think, and I've said it before, I think what's important when it comes to public benefit are the people that are closest affected to what you're going to do. If you haven't talked to them to ask what their public benefit is, then you really don't care what public benefit is, because the people within, I think it's the 500-foot range, are the ones that are going to be the most affected by your property. And if you haven't at least sat down and had a conversation with them to say, listen, here's what we're thinking about doing. What are your pros and cons? What do you hate, don't hate? What would you love to see, not see? They're going to tell you what public benefit is. They're going to tell you if it's important to have a restaurant or a bathroom or a view corridor or more
All right,
parking.
so just to play that scenario out, you're in a 500-foot area, right? You've got a 15-story building going up with a tiny little tiki bar on the beach going up. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't want to. I shouldn't say that because it might sound like a project coming forward. You're in an area where there's 500 feet around, and you have 80% of the people that in that neighborhood that say your public benefit offer is okay with me, and then you have the 20% that say no, that's certainly I don't want that in my neighborhood. What do you do?
Well, let's use I think for simplicity, let's use a project that's already been approved.
All right,
let's use the food truck, for instance, right across from the old town hall. There was some objection to that from a couple of the members in that neighborhood. In my opinion, the majority of the people that I heard from were in favor of it. The minority that I heard from. Now, there may have been some that chose not to speak, but there were people that had concerns. They came forward, they addressed their concerns, and the property owner made adjustments based on those concerns that were brought up in the meeting. That's how the process should work. Now, are all those people happy that this is coming or may potentially be coming? No. Is the developer of the property happy that they had to give up certain concessions to get what they felt was what they needed to make it happen? No. But that's every negotiation. That's how every negotiation should be. If one side walks away feeling they got exactly what they wanted, then it was a lopsided conversation. So you have to look at that. But they took the time to talk to their neighbors. They listened to public comment. They had conversations afterwards. They adjusted their plan. They came back forward, and ultimately it was approved.
And that's one of the ones in the works too. That hopefully will be open by next season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that one's in review or if it's waiting at the. I was trying to look at it again this morning, but I was a little foggy yesterday, and
yeah. Well, he wasn't hungover or anything,
No,
folks. He was sick.
I was down. I was out.
So, does anyone in the audience have any questions for the mayor? I saw some people. Oh,
Yeah.
Star, how are you? Good. What's your question? Trash.
Trash receptacles. Well,
Repeat the question.
The question was trash receptacles on Estero Boulevard, I'm gonna guess. And she asked if that is on the town or if that's on the county. Well, we know the county owns the boulevard, right? So technically I'll say both. You know, we usually try to do what we have to do to make sure that everybody needs what they need on Estero Boulevard. We do need to get approval from the county to do anything. I can't speak for Will as to where we're at with the garbage cans. I know they're fully aware of the concerns, and we know I think it's tomorrow, March 2nd, they're going to start on the repairing of Estero Boulevard on the south end of the island. So probably waiting for that because we reached out to them. Remember, we've got the interlocal agreement with the county to do the landscaping along there. There was no sense in doing that if they were going to tear things up. So
are they starting on the south end?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so, yeah. So that will all start as completion gets done. Hopefully we'll work we'll work alongside them to do the landscaping and do the garbage cans and do all the things that we need to do behind them. But technically both. Your answer to the question is technically both.
How has season been going so far? Not for the golf cart business specifically, but how have you heard the reaction about? I mean, I have to be honest with you. When I leave the beach in the afternoon, I don't really see the long lines that I used to see.
Well, the long lines are still there. One thing I've noticed is the long lines, every once in a while you'll see them backing up, but it rarely moves fairly quickly.
Okay.
And I have not, we leave from the south end. We live towards the south end of the island. Traffic's usually backed up to our street. And what's the longest we've waited this season? An hour. Around an hour, which
to get off the island.
To get off the island. We're just south of Publix, so usually that's kind of where it backs up to. So it takes roughly, the longest it's taken us is about an hour. Previous years, that's taken hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours and 2.5 hours.
Wow.
So
maybe it's the 19 traffic lights they put in that are actually working.
Well, I mean, March is going to be the true litmus test, right?
Yeah.
With spring break, and we'll see what happens now. But I have not heard as many complaints this year about traffic as I have in the past.
Speaking of,
but I have not heard from one business that said they're struggling to survive. Good. To answer your question, I think everybody's, for the most part, doing pretty good.
Yeah. So speaking of complaints, have the complaints died down about the helicopter, or are you still hearing them?
You still hear them. You still hear some here and there. And
You know, I was sitting out in the back yesterday, and a low-flying helicopter came over the house, and I was so pissed. I was like, I'm calling the FAA. I'm calling the airport. I'm trying to enjoy sitting out in my backyard, and I saw a helicopter. So
well,
it was a
Friday-
sheriff's helicopter, so I didn't do it.
Friday, I was getting ready to. I was walking into the card shack, and I heard a helicopter, and of course, I'm looking up to see what it is, and I could tell it wasn't. It was a military helicopter.
Oh,
right?
really?
And it was flying pretty low to the ground. It flew right over, and the first thing that came to my head is, "You better run for the jungle."
What's that song from?
Oh, come on! You don't know CCR?
Oh, I now I understand, but you were missing the tune on that one.
Well,
bro.
that's why I don't sing.
I gotcha.
I mean, I can't have good looks and sing. Come on.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'm with you on that.
It's the first time I've ever been booed.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, true.
So you got the update on that. What else? Anything? It seems like your agendas have been pretty short lately. So
They've been efficient.
Yeah,
They've
for sure.
been efficient. And no, I think as I said last show or the show before that, when it comes to progress, I think the train has left the station. I think it's moving forward. You see a little bit every day. We're starting to see some of that money from FEMA trickle back in.
oh, good.
A big issue people have been talking about is reserves. We've all got issues with the reserves, but we're starting to see some of that money come back in that we've had to, again, for people that don't know, when it comes to FEMA, you have to pay for the project up front and then you get reimbursed for it. So that's where a lot of your reserve funding goes, is you have to pay for it and then you get reimbursed. So we're starting to see some of that come in. Hopefully we'll get it all in over the next year and a half at the most, which will certainly help our reserve situation, but it's not going to solve all the problems, but it certainly will help. So we're starting to see that progress. Our federal appropriations is still moving forward, which is good.
It sure would be nice to see something being done in Times Square. The
It would.
roadway, the infrastructure, just to be ready for.
Well, that's gotten more challenging. I believe Will's touched on your show.
Yeah, he did.
before. Before the storm, it wasn't challenging. The businesses were established. The drainage was established. We were easy. We knew where we had to tie into things. We knew what we had to do to make it for them to be able to tie their downspouts in. Now those businesses are gone, and we don't know what each business is going to look like.
Right.
So designing that is going to take a little bit of work with the property owners to say, what is on your mind? And again, we encourage you, if you have something in Times Square that you want to build, bring it forward. So at least it gives us some inclination of what we can do, so we can get that area done. So when you do build, all of it's already done.
Yeah, the guy Carlos with the ice cream building is going to build, but there'll be no change to the infrastructure under the ground before he builds, right? I mean, unless you're planning to do that.
Well, again, I'm not a drainage expert, but whatever needs to be fixed will be fixed.
Okay. In order for him to build on
he's
it.
going to have to fix.
Even
just
a
like your
paint job
house.
on those ugly tiles would be nice. I mean,
But they're
geez.
going to be replaced. My understanding is the plan is to have that replaced with stamped concrete when it's all finally
Sweet.
said and done. So
People love just walking through there. I don't even think they care as much that nothing's there yet. I know they do care, but if it was a nicer place to walk through, like those tiles or broken tiles, it's just everybody wants to be by the clock, and you'll see everybody wants to be there Friday for the event, and just nasty.
Oh, it'll be fun, going back to the pool. I think when people get to see kind of the vision that the town has for the pool, they're going to be pretty excited. The goal is the biggest concern we've always had, even since I was on BORCAB way back in the day, was, it's an area that doesn't get advertised a lot. And a lot of people don't. I think I told you this before. When I was first running for council, I drove Uber.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did it part-time just so I could hear from people that came here all the time to understand what they liked, what they didn't like, what they didn't know, what they didn't. The biggest thing that I heard was people didn't know Bay Oaks was there.
Right? Yeah.
I would
Longest
get the
time
question
people
from
were saying
families
that.
that would say, is there anything to do besides the beach? The kids don't always want to sit at the beach. Well, have you ever gone to Bay Oaks? We've been coming here for 15 years. What's Bay Oaks? That's what made me kind of think, how can we get this going? So through the Bay Oaks committee, we've been working, BORCAB, we've been working on how do we get it better. Then obviously Hurricane Ian came, and now we have the opportunity to really make that pool. And the pool was the biggest generator of revenue for Bay Oaks. So even at the old pool, which was great. And if you remember, just before the storm, we had finished the kids' pool. It just got done and then, of course, got destroyed. So I think when people get to see whatever that final rendering looks like, they're going to be pretty excited. It's going to be a place. It's literally, hopefully, going to be a destination where you can take your entire family and hopefully, when I say your entire family, that includes our little fur babies.
Yeah. So anything new on what's going in the middle of the field? Any new plan there?
Nothing concrete yet. There's been conversations with some people who have ideas, but
Yeah, okay.
right
So,
now it's what you
rapid
see.
fire here. What's the
Boom.
latest on the beach school?
I think we'll have an update tomorrow
Oh,
during his public comment, but during his town manager items, as far as what we've heard back from our structural engineers and where they're at with the discussions with the superintendent and Dr. Savage. I don't know the details of it, but I'm assuming we'll hear something tomorrow.
all right. What else?
I don't know. You said rapid fire. I'm waiting for the rapid.
I can't remember anything. Any other questions from the audience? Anyone want to ask the mayor anything at all? Anything over by the bar? Anything? Sir, do you have a
Nothing.
question? What's your question?
He's thinking about it.
You're saying lights under the bridge.
Lights under the. Someone asked me about that last week.
Good question,
Yeah,
sir.
that is. I'll check with staff. That's FDOT that controls that because they have the bridge. But I'll check with them. My guess is it's probably tied into the same electrical for the lights coming on the bridge,
Which aren't on either.
which aren't on either.
The lights, here's what
Yeah.
the solution
My guess
is.
is they're tied to the same circuit.
The lights on the bridge will be turned on right at the end of the last day of season. That's when the FPL will turn the lights
I will
on the
tell
bridge.
you, I will. Yeah, I will do a jig, whatever that looks like, when we
But
finally
they were
have all
on
these
for
light
they were on
issues.
for like 3 days, and everybody was jumping for joy that the bridge lights were on, and then they shut them off. Like, you call FPL, it's like, why did you shut the lights off during season? Like, well, we were just testing them out to make sure they work. Well, they work. Turn them back on. Somebody go
I tell
flip
you,
the switch back on.
when we finally have lights down Estero Boulevard, I'm gonna go try to find Bruce Butcher and cheers
The
him.
longest project ever is the lighting project on Estero Boulevard.
For those who don't
So-
know who Bruce Butcher was, he was on the council before I was, and he's actually the one that kind of started this discussion about lights on Estero Boulevard long before the storm happened. So he'll be the first person I seek out to cheers to say we finally got it across the finish line.
Oh my God. I saw something. I don't know what newspaper I was reading or TV station I was reading or online. And I saw that apparently there's a bridge in Matlacha or somewhere out there in
Yeah.
Pine Island that they're working on. And the newspaper called it the fishingest bridge in Florida. And I thought they stole Ray Murphy's name for the South End Bridge. And how dare they do that? They didn't give him any credit or anything like that. And back in the day when Ray was still on the council and they were talking about redoing the bridge, Ray Murphy, the ex-mayor, called it the fishingest bridge in all of Florida. And, I was making fun of the whole thing, but it's kind of stuck. And I thought, well, those guys stole it. How is that? Apparently in Matlacha or Pine Island or whatever that bridge is, there are fishing poles. That's why they call it the fishingest bridge over there. Did you see that? Have you heard of that?
I
Or
had not heard of it. I mean,
was Ray making it up then? He was totally telling a lie the whole time.
I don't.
No, I think what he wanted
Ray
to
knows
do-
more about fishing.
Yeah, he
than-
wanted there to
he's
be
probably
some
forgot
kinda-
more about fishing than I'll ever know. So
He wanted there to be some kind of a pier left over so that people could still fish on the South End, which they're not going to be allowed to do, or they're not allowed to do, from what I
I
understand
saw
now.
the former mayor this morning.
Yeah, walking his dogs.
Yeah,
the big
yeah,
dogs. Still
yeah,
got the
yeah,
two big
yeah.
black labs, or
Yeah. He's got the two black dabs. Yeah.
yeah.
They I wish I could remember the name. I know they're named after Mardi Gras, but
And I know we don't get along
what's
really
that?
well now, but the-
Boudreaux and Thibodeau. That's
the mayor, he was like the longest running guest we ever had on the show back. I don't even think you were on council at the time. He'd come down to Pete's Time Out and come on the show all the time, bring the dogs down. And I'll never forget when COVID hit and you had to take everything. You weren't even allowed to be outside. Everything was removed from Times Square. They were thinking about putting up these barriers so you couldn't breathe on one another. But me and the mayor were sitting. We did a Saturday show from Pete's Time Out. It was closed, but we got out there. We were sitting on milk cartons doing the show. And I don't even remember what we were talking about. But, man, that was, 6 years ago, right?
That was
COVID was 6 years ago. Crazy.
well, remember he got reengaged and he got reengaged. I think,
Re-engaged.
well, back in politics, he got reengaged over the red tide. Speaking
Yeah,
of fishing,
he was out of
in
politics.
2018. Yeah, he was happily retired out of politics, and because of the red tide, he got involved. So, he was one of the first people that I talked to, first group of people that I talked to, and this is when I was like, maybe I'm not going to be the best politician on the planet because, like, I don't like just walking up and talking to people. If you know who they are, I'm not if I saw the most famous sports star walk through here, I'm going to let him walk through. I'm not going to stop and say, hey, can I have your picture? You know what I mean? It's just not who I am. So we were at an event and Ray was there and someone was like, you got to go talk to the former mayor. I'm like, well, I don't want to, he doesn't know who I am. I just want to walk up and talk to him. Like, that's what you got to do. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's fine. But the guy is here enjoying himself. This is not a political event. I'm not going to do that. And I'm thinking to myself, what do we have in common? And then I remember the dogs, the black lab. We had Rudy at the time. So I'm like, that's something we have in common. So I walked up and asked him how his dogs were doing. That's how he and I started our conversation. And of course, if you know Ray, when you talk about his dogs, he lights right up. He loves his dogs. So that's how our conversation. That's how I first really got to know him. And then talking, that's how I got to meet Dan Hughes is through Ray. And so, that's a lot of the history that I think. Yeah. Well, I think that's a lot of history that people forget about. But I think that's stuff you have to reflect on to understand the vision of where we're going.
Yeah, and Ray and Dan and Anita, they were all part of the incorporation in the mid-'90s. And the reason the town incorporated was because of Diamond Head, not because of Diamond Head and who they are, but the height of the building, which will make the whole thing with London Bay so much more interesting, because that's a huge building on the south end of the island where there are larger, taller buildings. Does it fit in or not fit in? And that is going to be an interesting decision. All these other buildings, the Seagate thing was caused because mostly of the height, not because of the density. And now you have a building that's too high. It's too high. If you go by the standards of the comprehensive plan and the land development code, it's too high. But it's in an area where there are taller buildings. Do the neighbors care? Because they're going to get a tiki bar, and maybe they don't care. So, I mean, that's going to be an interesting discussion. I know you can't talk about it because it hasn't come before you yet, and I would never try to get you to do that. But Dave Nussbaum is watching, and he wants you to remind people about the water taxi survey.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Dave. So there's a water taxi survey out that the MRF committee put together. Basically, I don't remember how many questions. I think it's 10 or 15 questions in there. I don't know. Maybe Dave can answer if they're going to. I had a question about one of the questions that wasn't in there is, are you a full-time resident, not a full-time resident? Would you use it based on that, blah, blah. So hopefully they'll add that back into it. But basically, it's asking you if you would use the service, what you'd be willing to pay for the service. Will it, if it picks you up at your dock and brings you downtown, or vice versa, is it something that we'd use? So if you get a chance, go, and it's on the town's Facebook page. Go take the survey. Too often we put surveys out and we only get 100 people that reply to them. So whether you live here, don't live here, resident, non-resident.
Okay. I thought you wanted it for just the residents. That's why I didn't share it, because most of the people that
it's for everyone. And Dave will correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I read the questions is this for anyone. If
all right. That's why I didn't share it.
As just like every restaurant or every service on the island, we don't have enough residents to support every single business. So you have to rely on tourism for people to survive. Wahoo Willie's, my business, every business you have to. So it's important to get all the feedback from everybody. Kind of like driving Uber, right? You want to get everybody's feedback so that you understand what you're trying to do. Because to make good decisions, it's you got to think about everything or talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right. Big hand for the mayor of Fort Myers Beach, everybody. Dan Allers. Man, the hours fly by with Dan. Just think, maybe we could do this every day. How cool would that be? All right, before you hang up the phone, everybody, please listen to who make this show possible, in addition to Wahoo Willie's. I mean, we wouldn't sit here every day and get in the way of your eating. We wouldn't want to do that. Michael Stewart is a structural engineer. If you don't want your building to fall in the dirt and sit there for year after year after year because you called the wrong person, his name begins with a J. Don't call the guy that's name begins with a J. Call Michael Stewart. He can design any structure, whether it's residential or commercial. Residential services range from new custom homes directly on the Gulf Bay or the Finger Streets. That's the side streets, in case you didn't know that, Tom. He starts with a survey and the client's hand-drawn sketches, and then he makes you a rock-solid building. Michael Stewart is online at mstewartpe.com. That's mstewartpe.com. Alex King is creating dreams and elevating lifestyles. He's done the research, so you don't have to. Oh, you saw yesterday they did an open house, and they had dancers at the open house. Where else are you going to get dancers? From the 1950s, when Marie was born. Dancers at the open house. Go online and follow Alex King. He's just creating all kinds of fun dreams. Oh, I got to give out his phone number. You might want to call him right now, 239-219-0336, 239-219-0336. And Power Block Builders. Again, you're going to call Michael. First, you're going to call Alex. Then you're going to call Michael. Then you're going to call Power Block Builders. Homes by Power Block, an elevated home builder committed to helping families and communities recover after the devastating impact of Hurricane Ian. The team specializes in creating resilient, safe, and beautifully crafted homes so you can rebuild not just a house, but a place you can make memories like we're doing here today, all of us together. One big happy family making memories. Memories like the corner of your eye. Give Power Block Builders a call. 239-849-1919. 239-849-1919. All right, everybody. The next time you'll see us will be Friday in Times Square for the 30th anniversary celebration of Fort Myers Beach. And we hope to see you all there. We'll have our tent set up, and we'd like you all to come. That's an invitation, a personal invitation from the real mayor of Fort Myers Beach. See you Friday, everybody. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.